That little feedback was perfect because if you've ever heard that sound, then this makes sense to you. I'm introducing Leonard Pickard. What's that sound? Allegedly responsible for 90% of the world's LSD. He served 20 years of 2 life sentences before receiving compassionate release in 2020. And he was released into Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I had just moved back to. And through Leonard, who I met, thanks to Synergy Ranch and Tango, I got to meet Adele Getty and Michael Williams. And here in Santa Fe, we're in Colorado, but there in Santa Fe in New Mexico, we have some amazing work happening at the state level. And on September 7th in Santa Fe, Limina Foundation, one of our sponsors here tonight, which is Adele and Michael, are having a conference called Enchanted State. I encourage you to look it up and come see more of Leonard.
Yes. A clandestine laboratory 40 years ago. Remote mountain environment, 12,000 feet. I'm sitting on 1,000 kilograms of something called 3,4,5-trimethoxybenzaldehyde. 1,000 kilograms, making mescaline hemisulfate dihydrate, long, beautiful needles. And I came across a very difficult portion of the synthesis. I could only turn to my personal hero I've never met, but read all of his papers since the age of 21, and that was Sasha. So I summoned courage and wrote a letter to Sasha and Ann. Amazingly, a few weeks later, the letter came back, inviting me to his courses at San Francisco State. I appeared and smiled through the entire semester at the beauty of his speech. My cheeks hurt at the end of every class that was invited to the home, to the farm. It was a magnificent night. The sky, black panes were connecting the stars, and moonlight was falling down upon the earth. And Sasha and Ann, bathed in the moonlight, were opening their journals for decades. Beautiful inscriptions of elegant molecules. Sasha could rotate stereoisomers in his mind as he talked, his eyes twinkled. A great bear of a man, 6'4", very embracing. You got hug going in to the farm, you got hug coming out. Thumbing through all this laboratory notebook and said, well, where does it say Eureka? You thought that was Ariadne, perhaps. So many memories of Sasha. London, Amsterdam with Albert Hoffman, Heidelberg, that sort of thing. I remember one Christmas, several Christmases in Sasha and Ann's kitchen with a few friends as he told stories and talked of chemistry incessantly, always with the most beautiful heart. And I was reminded of Dickens, speaking of the poor children of London, and their faces looked as though sitting before their first Christmas tree. And that's how the faces around the table looked, listening to Sasha and Ann, like children at their first Christmas tree, like all of us tonight look, in remembering his loving legacy. And you who have the future in your hands, carrying that heart forward. The last time I spoke to Sasha, just a moment, Sasha in Harvard, before the world's great neuroscientist, looking sternly at this fellow from the West Coast doing all these exotic psychedelic molecules. And Sasha dismantled that stern attitude by telling stories of how at 19, as a Harvard undergraduate, he concocted a bomb in Wigglesworth, the dormitory, and exploded it in Harvard Yard. And of course, they broke into laughter and cheer, and then Sasha had them from that point forward. The last time I spoke to Sasha, I was buried in a maximum security prison in the hole, where we only isolated cell for 6 months. And the only phone call we could make was 15 minutes once a month. And so the cuff port in a 300-pound door opened, and the phone was handed to me. And I called Sasha and Ann. The last time I heard his voice. And I asked him, Sasha, do you still play the balalaika? A Russian descent, he had a beloved balalaika. And he said, yes. And then he, in whimsical way, he queried me, how many strings does a balalaika have? I went, 5? He never put down his students. There were only 3. But he said, yes. And the last words he said to me were, there are heavenly harmonics. There are heavenly harmonics. And so I trust tonight, with the chords of our hearts stirred at the memories of this loving couple, that Sasha will somehow hear us. And thank you, Sasha. And thank you.